So what's your opinion on the European Super League then?
So finally, they've announced something. Obviously, this has been something that's been spoken about for years. I saw a clip earlier on TikTok from Spencer Owen when he said that it would happen at some point, and that I think was like back in 2015.
Yeah.
I think the idea of having a competition that you can't get relegated from, and that you also get more money for entering than if you were to win like the Premier League and the Champions League, I think it is ridiculous. Like, absolutely mental. Sky Sports were reporting earlier that someone that's on the board of one of those top 6 English teams has said to them that the board are discussing it, knowing that the fans are going to hate it, but that for them the biggest thing is making money, and giving back to football has been said it is a secondary thing. Like,
but ultimately they're businesses though. If you think about it, I'm obviously it's not good for the fans. I'm being devil's advocate here. If you think about it, they're all businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So, and during the beginning of the first COVID, they weren't exactly treated very well by the Premier League. The Premier League were like, oh, you can't do this, can't do that. And you've got 6 massive businesses, which are football clubs are basically businesses, going, we could do this better ourselves, we could earn more money, and we know and control what's going on than what the Premier League were doing. Because it left loads of clubs high and dry. And I think from their aspect, if they can control the money, they can make sure everyone stays afloat and up, and then they can balance the books easier and make more profit. It's ultimately, you're a business, you want to make as much money as possible. How are you going to do it? Break away from someone controlling your top line.
The only people it benefits is the top 6 teams. And I say top 6 as in the old school top 6, because they're not even the top 6 teams at the moment. I mean, Arsenal were celebrating a 97th minute equaliser against Fulham yesterday like they just won the Champions League. Arsenal haven't qualified for the Champions League for how many seasons now? Like 3 or 4 seasons? And they haven't got further than the group stages in ages, or like the first round of the knockout stages. So
You got Tottenham as well.
Yeah, well, at least Spurs qualify for the Champions League every now and again. But yeah, they haven't won
without Mourinho now.
Yeah, they're going without Mourinho. They haven't won a trophy in God knows how long. I think that the idea that it will benefit, trying to say that they'll benefit football and pass the money down, is ridiculous. Because if they're allowed to stay, if this happens and they're allowed to stay in the Premier League, which obviously the Premier League at the moment is saying that they wouldn't allow it.
They're to re-enter from the 5th division, I think, was what they said.
Well,
was there a talk this morning?
Yeah, that was talked about. I mean, the EFL haven't said anything yet, so I guess they could go straight in at the Championship if the EFL deem it as okay. Because the thing is with the Football League pyramid system is you go in based on your stadium and your fan base and things like that. So they wouldn't be able to just go and join at the Isthmian League 3rd tier or whatever, because you couldn't have 80,000 people turn up, because there's different requirements for different leagues.
On the physical stands.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Man United wouldn't be allowed to go and play an away game against like Taunton Town, because there would be too many.
I saw them play against Yeovil.
There'd be too many people.
In the FA Cup.
There'd be too many people turning up on a weekly basis. But in terms of the idea that it would benefit football in any way is absolutely ludicrous, because you end up with 6 teams that can afford to pay more than any other team in the country, and those other teams are just going to be screwed, because they're still going to have to abide by financial fair play, the other 14 teams, whereas the top 6 teams, if they're getting given £200 million a year without doing anything, they can finish last and they don't get kicked out. That's the issue. So they're saying
they can just sit there and cream off the top of this whole business, because it's all going for. I think it's DAZN have got the rights.
So
to the ESL.
yeah, I think DAZN are the ones that are going to have the streaming rights, and then JP Morgan, the American bank, they're the ones that are financing the whole thing.
Yeah, and then you've got, it's because basically from my perspective is, it's easier to sell Ronaldo playing Messi every single week in Asian and American markets than it is trying to sell Real Sociedad playing someone.
Yeah.
And it's like, trying to sell the whole BVB doesn't really, it's not an easy sell. But if you can just say, this week you've got Ronaldo going up against Harry Kane, next week you've got Chelsea against Barcelona and stuff. There are a lot easier sell-ins for other markets, because they'll support the players, not necessarily the teams.
But it's still ludicrous, because you've got 5 teams that are apparently going to be able to go up and go in and out of that division as well. So you could have Arsenal and Spurs finish bottom of the division, but they wouldn't be able to get relegated. But then I'm guessing if the next team was one of those ones that had just come up, they would be able to get relegated.
But there's no relegations across the board. I thought it was
No, because you've got
the founders can't get
it's
relegated.
only the founding ones can't get moved. But there's 5 teams.
So you're basically buying yourself a seat to never.
Yeah.
You're buying yourself guaranteed money.
Yeah, you're being given that, and you've got like 5 teams that can qualify. Well, how do you qualify? And if you're an English team, do you look at that and go, we've already got 6 English teams in there. We're not going to let any more English teams go in.
Yeah,
So
you cap it.
at that point,
You got 3 Spanish. Is it 2 Spanish or 3 Spanish currently?
it is.
Barca, Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Because Real Madrid are kind of spearheading the whole operation. That's their like big. We want this to go through. That was their kind of. It was from their remit, I think, they went for this. And you've got Bayern Munich said no, but that's obviously because German and the 51% fan ownership of the clubs.
Yeah.
PSG, to my surprise, said no. I thought something like this comes up, PSG are going straight into it. Just from being a PSG fan, you see the club. It's a money-driven club. It's in the French league. I'd almost prefer to watch PSG play in this new league. Like just for as a fan watching it, it sounds bad being like, oh, I don't support this league, but in terms of watching the French league, where you've got PSG, who's got so much money being pumped into it, and then so much of disparity across the whole league, it'd be quite interesting to see like them being tested quite
week
often.
in, week out, yeah.
Yeah.
But you say
They're
that
not
you
even
got
first in the league at the moment, but
Juventus lost yesterday
yeah.
as well. Like, I think
Juventus have losing their magic though. You've got AC Milan's going across. You've got Juventus going across.
Inter Milan.
Inter.
Yeah, it's Inter Milan. It is 3 Spanish teams because Atletico Madrid are going as well as Barcelona and Real Madrid.
So you got those. You got that 6. You got the British.
And they're inviting
6.
3 more as well. So PSG might
It's
turn
going to be a
around
20
and
total.
yeah. So
It's a 20
yeah.
total.
So there'll be
I thought it was.
15 founding teams, and then the 5
Yeah.
would be the ones that would be able to qualify.
Oh, so that'd be like pulling in like Galatasaray or like
Well,
random teams or like. Or do you reckon because they've got such a big Chinese market? I don't know anything about this. This is just me thinking.
there's no way it'll be a Chinese
Do
team.
you reckon?
European
I mean,
Super
but
League.
the whole-
Oh yeah, let's add Chinese and LA
But-
Galaxy
but
while
what
we're
I'm
at it.
But what? No, but I know the name is the European Super League, but what's it from stopping down the line?
Mm-hmm.
Them going, we've got so much. Like the Chinese government just throw $1 billion at the board and go, here you go, like, and just buy their because this whole thing is kind of money and greed.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing saying down the line that the league just becomes the Super League, and where like I don't know, is it Inter Miami, David Beckham's new
Yeah.
team, or you've got like a Chinese team. Or like a Korean team that's got so much money just because them just buys a slot in there. Like because the Chinese league, they keep buying players on ridiculous salary and they go over there and just earn a load and just come back.
Well, so it
Is
ends
what's
up
stopping
being
one of them from buying a seat and going into that league?
ends up
And
being like
almost F1,
like
you
Formula
can buy
One.
a
Yeah,
whole
you
team.
can just buy a seat. Yeah.
You just buy a whole team, you buy your seat, you get in, and it just seems because it'd be a travelling circus. I personally feel you're gonna get with this European Super League, you're gonna have matches where you've gone, okay, tonight we've got the battle in the sands. You've got Real Madrid versus Liverpool in Abu Dhabi. You're gonna get stuff like that.
So at the moment they are saying that it's going to be home and away legs as per normal because it'd be a league
But
competition.
still-
But I wouldn't be surprised if this did go ahead within 3 or 5
Give
years.
it a year.
3 or 5 years, they'll say, okay, we've got 20 teams that are playing. We're actually going to play each other 3 times, home, away, and at a neutral venue.
Like a showcase
Yeah,
event almost.
exactly.
The whole thing's for money, so I'm just thinking, where would they go? How can we make more money?
And it's been
Let's have
spoken about
a
before.
3-leg system. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been spoken
You've
about
got-
before. I think they play each other. If they then play each other 3 times, especially if they get kicked out of all domestic football. You know,
They're gonna have
they've
to
only
try and
got
beef up the numbers.
yeah, they've only got 38 games to play, and apparently this is another thing that was said in that Sky report where they spoke to someone that they couldn't name that was a board member.
The insider board member.
Yeah, they said that that the club don't want the players playing games. They want them to play as fewer games as possible so that they save themselves for these big, massive battle of the giants sort of games. They don't want them going and playing World Cup friendlies, or World Cup qualifiers, and international friendlies and Nations League games and things like that. So apparently they've been very outspoken that that's not a problem to them, and they're going to be able to pay them £400,000 a week, £500,000 a week for these players that will you might see more players become one club teams. A couple of players have already tweeted and said that they don't like the idea, but it would.
Well, as we're recording this right now, it's just come through on my screen. 2 statements have just come out. One from Boris Johnson himself saying the government will look at everything we can do to ensure the European Super League will not go ahead.
Yeah.
So that's the British backing. And then at literally that second, you've got Thomas Tuchel has just come out and said, it's kind of a beating around the bushes, but he said, I've known since yesterday, but I'm here to be in the hardest competition. It's why I came here, being Chelsea, to play the toughest competitions in Europe, he said. As you know, I don't get to the subjects around us. I was hoping to talk about, man, that's all the waffle. But I'm part of this club and I trust this club to make the right decisions. I think it's too early to judge everything and it's not my part to judge.
He's all for it then in his eyes, that to me.
Yeah, he's like, let me through. You're not going to annoy as a Chelsea manager. You've only just
arrived there as well.
It's a revolving door there. Yeah, like one in, one out.